Hello friends, taking a look at today's stocks. These are stocks picked out by members of the Chart Guides community for me to take a look at. This is what we do all day, every day. So if you like trading, you like technical analysis, you like price action, you like talking about it, check out our community. It's full of really just good people. So we're going to start with Apple. We're going to look at Amazon, Tesla, PLTR, and FSLY today. We're going to start with Apple on the daily time frame. Are pretty much a nothing crazy. A little bit of a spinning top, red upper and lower wick candlestick, and it's really a nothing day. Negligible volume, not a lot of interesting price action, sort of volatility back and forth. But you know what? That's exactly what we talked about happening the other day. I think the last time we talked about Apple was on November 10th, and we were just looking for a lower high underneath this big high up here at 121.99. If we go to the hourly time frame, this is pretty much played out exactly the way we anticipated it. And the only reason that we expected that to happen was the big drop from 122.99 to 114. That's a very significant move in one direction, and increases the likelihood that we're going to see at least, if only a temporary, lower high under 120.99. And on the hourly time frame, we've locked in a high now, 120.53, and we've knocked out 118.70. So if we get another lower high under 120.53 tomorrow, and a new lower low underneath our low day to day, that's going to lock in that little rounded action, and I'll be quite pleased with having drawn it. However, daily time frame, if that does come to pass, we're still going to be expecting a higher low over top of our 117.59. And the reason for that is if we go to the weekly time frame, it's not very beautiful, but we can see we have a bit of a tightening formation. It's tightening up on the weekly, which means the days higher highs and lows should be getting closer together, and that's what we see happening here. So eventually this will break to the upside or the downside. That remains to be seen, but we do have a little bit of what we call chop back and forth, and it really gets manifested in kind of a ugly and not so useful way on the 5-minute time frame, where you have big moves in either direction, really lacking a sense of continuity, and we get lows and lower highs, and then we break without any follow through. Then we get areas of double bottom, and we get a break with no follow through to the upside. That is expected when you get into these periods of prolonged compression, and it makes for choppy day trading. So we have to keep an eye on our daily charts, figure out what our hourly charts are doing, and try to make the best of those situations. So looks like we might have our lower high set today. Let's test tomorrow's action for a low of day break of 118.57. Then we'll be looking for that daily higher low. Amazon on the daily time frame. Likewise, seeing lower highs and higher lows on the daily time frame. A little bit more commitment and follow through from yesterday's bull action. We had a nice 15-minute squeeze, if I remember, and that sort of played out in the after hours. Got us up to 2,175. And then we developed ourselves a nice 5 and 15-minute downtrend. Bulls started to linger in here, and they did so at the end of the day, not really doing a heck of a lot to stop the bleed. In fact, we only mostly went sideways for the duration of the late afternoon. But what does that mean for us long term? Well, let's go back to the daily time frame. We have a little bit of downside momentum. Bulls are trying to stifle that out. So we have to ask ourselves, is this a counter trend, or are we going to resume the new downtrend? Well, for our higher lows, I think if bulls, and it's really up to the bulls to prove it, if they can get over 31.7588 again and break today's high of day, which was our pre-market level, then I think we've got ourselves a 4-hour uptrend. And that's about as optimistic as I'm willing to be today. If we manage to do that, then our high, we're probably going to be looking for a test of this broadening range, which is a new buzzword I like. I would look for resistance up there. We see higher highs and higher lows in a very, very broad overall pattern. Let's see if that makes sense on the daily. And it does a little bit. You know what? Let's have some fun with it. Let's draw that and see how it looks on the hourly. Well, there you go. Keep an eye on that trend line too. Amazon not doing much of anything. I'd watch it tomorrow, but I don't have any crystal ball predictions for you. Sort of doing chopping around, a lot like Apple was. Tesla. Okay, this is the quintessential chopping around. So yesterday's video, or the day before, we were talking about this overall tightening range. And if you go over to this fancy little indicator we made, we have inside hourly, we have inside month, we have inside quarter, which means there's going to be a lot of this chop, and that has really shown up well today. Look at all the hourly yellow inside bars. So compression, break, lack of follow through. We break our inside bar to the downside. Really indecisive, really indecisive. indecision candlestick after indecision candlestick. It makes for very, very difficult trading. You don't need to trade Tesla. There are a lot of options out there. The Tesla time will return. There will be a day again when Tesla is an amazing day trader and a vehicle for a lot of profit. But unfortunately, in the short term, it's not that. So right now we have daily momentum ever so slightly to the downside. We are looking for a return to an hourly downtrend. We'll look for a test of 396.03. If bulls can get a higher low or a high over 423, which is the current after hours level, then they have relatively little 4-hour resistance up to 452.50. It really could go either way watching these key levels. And the problem with these markets, as we talked about in the Apple review, you can break highs without any follow through, break lows without any follow through. You need trends to make the most beneficial successful trades, and unfortunately Tesla is just not giving us very much of that right now. PLTR. Okay, here's a little bit of a different one for us. Earnings are today. Let's see if they're already underway. I suspect that is probably it. So what we're going to do is go and look at the daily time frame. Without having spent much time looking at after hours, we can see big volume, big bear volume to the downside. We already know that we've knocked out our 1440 double bottom support, and our next support down is at 318. Below that, we probably have some 4-hour at 1205. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame and see where we got. Very close to that 318 level. So that was really important to note. If we were watching this in after hours, trading the earnings, looking for that downside, 318 was a beautiful support. Got what, about 21 cents away from that? So pretty interesting there. If bulls can hold this, I'm going to be looking for a lower high underneath today's high of pre-market 1706. I would love to see bulls come back and get a lower high under that level and then give us a head and shoulders type pattern. If they are able to do that, then we'd be probably back down to the $11 range or the $12 range, testing a new longer term basis support. Really, really nice work on the short term, but the bulls have so much work to do to build long-term, substantial, confident levels of support after having moved up so quickly. It's hard to stay up here when you haven't proved out what you need to prove out. Hourly time frame, so far hourly bears still in control and looking for a trend change. I think if we get a confident high over 1540 at this point, we'd be looking okay for the short-term lower high under 1706. Let's take a look at FSLY. This is also one that is moving after hours. Let's see what our daily chart said for us. Well, we'd be looking for resistance right now at our EMA 26, even in after hours. Let's get that magnet gone. Come on, magnet. There you go. So around 1796, let's call it that. Daily time frame, daily higher low and higher high. So bulls are in control. As long as they can get over top of EMA 26, they're going to be very well positioned. This high here has knocked out most, if not all, of the shorts that have been riding since, let's see, October 23rd. Anyone who was short below that time is now underwater and is going to be making some life decisions pretty soon. Okay, yeah, we knocked out a lot of those highs. So bulls are in a very good position if they can get over top of 1716. So last EMA resistance on the daily time frame. We don't have any major resistance on the daily until our high of 95.35. Going to the 4-hour time frame now, this is where we're starting to see some of that after hours action coming into play. And look how close we got to our EMA. You know what? Let's go back and get the actual level. 79.04 is the 79.04, is that correct? Yeah, that's the actual level of our daily EMA. We go to our 15-minute time frame, very close to it. So 16 cents away. I'm not great at quick math. Very close to that resistance. So we have a 15-minute uptrend. We're fading a little bit of the 5-minute counter trend after hours. And at this point, I don't see any reason not to doubt the bulls. We want to open strong. Ideally, we would open underneath today's high day, 77.46. And I would love to be able to break that level in regular market action. That would just be fantastic. If we were able to do that, and the reason I want to open inside that range is let's go to our 5-minute action and let's turn off extended hours. And then we'll go back to the daily. Sorry, hourly time frame. The hourly has given us this nice inside bar setup. So we see it over here with these 2 yellow bars. If we can open inside that hourly range, that would just give us the most possible bang for our buck upside potential that we could look for. It would be a confident, actually we have the 4-hour time frame to work for with us as well. All right, so what I'm going to be watching for tomorrow on FSLY, I want to open below 77.08. I want to break 77.08 and 77.46 to the upside. And then I am going to be looking for a target of 80.50. Let's see what we can do tomorrow. I'm going to be watching this one closely. Hope you are too. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And that's it. Have a great day.